Today we will talk about Shah Waliullah Dehlawi, Rahmatullah alayh. We will talk about his infield of political instability, social decline, and weakening religious practices, his efforts in hadith, tafsir, fiqh, and social reforms. Shah Waliullah Dehlawi, Rahmatullah alayh, was one of the greatest Islamic scholars, reformers, and thinkers of the 18th century. He played a major role in reviving Islamic teachings in India during a time of political instability, social decline, and weakening religious practices. His efforts in hadith, tafsir, fiqh, and social reforms helped preserve Islamic knowledge and unite Muslims in the Indian subcontinent. Shah Waliullah was born in 1703 CE 1114 or in Delhi, India. His real name was Qutbuddin Ahmad, but he became known as Shah Waliullah due to his piety and scholarship. His father, Shah Abdur Rahim, was a famous Islamic scholar and a founder of Madrasa Rahimiyya, a major Islamic educational center in Delhi. By the age of 15, he had completed his education in Quran and Hadith, fiqh Islamic law, tafsir Quranic interpretation, logic, philosophy, and Arabic literature. He became a teacher at Madrasa Rahimiyya, following in his father's footsteps. In 1731 CE, Shah Waliullah traveled to Mecca and Medina to seek further knowledge. He studied under great scholars and focused on hadith, Islamic jurisprudence, and Tasawwuf Sufism. He also performed Hajj and spent time in spiritual training before returning to India. When Shah Waliullah returned to India, he saw that the Mughal Empire was declining due to corruption and weak leadership. Muslims were divided into sects and followed cultural traditions instead of true Islamic teachings. Moral and social values were deteriorating. Hindu influences on Muslim society were increasing. The British and Marathas were gaining power over India. He realized that Muslims needed a religious and social revival, so he dedicated his life to reforming Islamic teachings and uniting the Ummah. One of his most important contributions was translating the Quran into Persian, making it easier for common people to understand. Before this, the Quran was only available in Arabic, which many people could not read. Later, his sons translated the Quran into Urdu, making it accessible to even more people. Shah Waliullah wrote over 50 books on Islamic law, hadith, tafsir, and social reforms. His most famous books include Hujjatullah al-Baligha, explaining the wisdom of Islamic laws and teachings, Isolat al-Kafa, a book on the role of caliphate and leadership in Islam, Al-Fawz al-Kabir fi Usul al-Tafsir, a guide on how to understand the Quran. He worked to revive the knowledge of hadith in India, encouraging scholars to study authentic narrations of Prophet Muhammad, PBUH. His efforts led to the spread of hadith studies in India, which influenced later scholars. At that time, Muslims in India were divided into different sects. Shah Waliullah promoted unity among Hanafi, Shafi, and other Sunni schools of thought. He called for an end to conflicts between Sufis and scholars of fiqh, saying that both are important for Islam. He emphasized following the Quran and authentic hadith, but other than just blind imitation of scholars. He believed in ijtihad, independent reasoning, when solving new issues in society. Shah Waliullah wrote letters to Mughal rulers and Muslim kings, urging them to rule according to Islamic justice and fairness. He invited Ahmad Shah Abdoli, a ruler from Afghanistan, to fight against the Marathas, who were oppressing Muslims. This led to the Battle of Panipat, 1761 CE, which helped stop Maratha expansion in North India. He worked against caste discrimination and corruption in Muslim society. He taught that Islam does not allow social injustice, and that rulers must care for the poor and weak. He also emphasized women's rights, and said that Islam gives them a respected position in society. Shah Waliullah passed away in 1760 to CE 1176 or in Delhi, India. His work was continued by his sons and students, who spread his teachings across India. Many great Islamic scholars were inspired by Shah Waliullah, including Shah Abdul Aziz, his son, continued his mission of Islamic revival. Syed Ahmad Barelvi led a movement against British rule. Allama Iqbal, the poet-philosopher of Pakistan, who admired his work. Deobandi and Barelvi movements, both schools were influenced by his teachings. He revived Islamic teachings in India during a time of decline. He translated the Quran, making it easier for people to understand. He united different Islamic sects and promoted harmony among Muslims. He encouraged rulers to govern with Islamic justice. He reintroduced the study of Hadith and emphasized its importance. His teachings influenced later movements that resisted British rule in India. Shah Waliullah Dehlawi was not just a scholar, he was a reformer, a teacher, and a guide for the Muslim Ummah. His mission to revive Islamic teachings, promote unity, and bring justice still inspires Muslims today. His efforts helped preserve Islam in India and influenced many future movements that fought for Islamic knowledge, justice, and freedom. Even today, his books, ideas, and teachings continue to guide scholars and reformers around the world.